fascinating. At the instance of seeing, light clusters called photons travel from the object to the eye and pass through the eye lens, where they are refracted and focus on the retina at the back of the eye. Here, rays are turned into electrical signals and then transmitted by neurons to the center of vision at the back of the brain.
Number one, no information comes from the white man. That's nothing in the bud. White man don't have no history. White man's concept is all his knowledge has come from black men. Let's get that straight right now. Just because you're ignorant and you don't see past the white man's system doesn't mean the white man had a system before this. He got everything he understood. The Greek got everything they understood from Africa. And because you was a slave doesn't mean this wasn't your knowledge first. Every concept the white man understands, he understands through the science of a black man teaching him that. Never forget that. You're being reminded. They preserved our knowledge and tainted it at that. Never think that we're giving you white man information. This is reminding of you of your ancestors' information, and it is science, and it's something that needs to be understood because it's divine truth. It is a fact, cannot be debunked. So let's be quiet in the class. Turn your comments off, guys, so you can learn. Go ahead.
The act of seeing actually takes place in this center in the brain. All the images we view in our lives and all the events we experience are actually experienced in this tiny and dark place. Both the film you are now watching and the boundless landscape you see when you gaze to the horizon actually fit into this place of a few cubic centimeters. Now, let us reconsider this information more carefully. When we say we see, we actually see the effect the rays reaching our eyes form in our brain by being converted into electric signals. When we say we see, we actually observe the electrical signals in our brain.
Okay, what that said was when you see, this is how the eyes work. When you see something, you are actually receiving light photons into the retina of the eye through the optical nerve into the brain. The brain is interpreting these electrical signals. Does everybody grasp that? Yes. Everybody get that part? Yes. You're not really seeing. Your brain is interpreting electrical signals through your optical nerve. Your eyeballs are receiving light photons. This is what's happening. Your eyeballs are receiving light photons. The photons are turning into electrical signals through the wire called the optical nerve sent to your brain. And in the back of your brain is where vision happens. It's where it's interpreted. So what you see is not what you see. It's electrical signals that the brain is interpreting. Isn't that amazing? Huh? So your eyes are receiving electrical impulses, electricity, hit in the back of your brain, and then your brain is interpreting that electrical signal. Let us go further.
By the way, there is another point that has to be kept in mind. The brain is sealed to light, and its interior is absolutely dark. Therefore, it is never possible for the brain to contact with light itself.
So the brain never contacts with light itself because it's encased in darkness. Yet your brain is telling you that you're seeing light. Your brain is encased in darkness. But it's telling you that it's seeing light. How, Sway? How? Let's go a little deeper.
We can explain this interesting situation with an example. Let us suppose that in front of us there is a burning candle, and we view its light. During this period, when we view the candle's light, the inside of our skull and our brain are in absolute darkness. The light of the candle never illuminates our brain and our center of vision.
This candle that you see, and its light, it's not light. It's electrical signals in the brain. The brain is interpreting that there's a candle there. But there's no candle there. It's all in your brain's interpretation. Your brain is interpreting that there's a candle there through an electrical signal. Remember, everything is like photons. The light photon sends an electrical signal to your brain. Your brain is saying, that's a candle. Your brain is telling you, you're listening to Chief right now, but your brain is in darkness. How the hell does it know what's on the outside of the brain? Outside the skull. Your brain is encased in darkness. How the hell the nigga in the house gonna tell the niggas outside what they seen? That's like it's 5 niggas that go outside, and you the nigga inside. They go out, collect information. They bring it to you. What's this? And you like, nigga, how I know? You tell me. You went outside? Nah, you tell me. You on the inside. What? So it's 5 senses that are bringing in these electrical signals. They collecting data. They go inside it into the motherfucker that's in the dark. You inside. You ain't been outside. They come bring you the data and say, yo, interpret this. Okay, look, you seen a green tree. You smelled some flowers. You got there. Somebody just smacked shit out you. You know what I'm saying? So I want to understand how in the hell is this happening? Well, we're about to find out today. Because I'm just giving you the facts about reality. I want to break your reality open. See, life is not what it appears to be. Say, I am a mind.
I am a mind.
I am shapeless.
I am shapeless.
I am formless.
I am formless.
Reality is based in my thoughts.
Is based in my thoughts.
And interpreted.
And interpreted.
I ain't gonna take that part yet. Right? You won't know how it's interpreted. You just know that the brain is interpreting, but you don't know what the brain is using to interpret the electrical signals. That's deeper. Right? Do you know that the brain is interpreting the electrical signals, but the brain must be using something to interpret? You understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
Your brain has to be using something as a database that is interpreting the electrical signal to even tell the eyes what it's seeing. The brain has to, okay, the electrical signal, okay, cool, this is an electrical signal that's got this code, but the code is based in a database. So it takes it from some kind of database to interpret and tell you what you're seeing. Whoa, that's deep. That's deep. How does the brain interpret what you see, touch, feel, smell, and taste? It's in darkness. So it has to have something it's pulling its interpretation from. Today I'm going to teach you where all your knowledge comes from. All your understanding comes from a database. A database. So now you will understand how reality works mentally. And then you will know that your physical is nothing more than a manifestation of your mind. But today I'm going to teach you what's the database of your whole program? Why do you see a tree? Why do you see the other person? Who are you talking to? Do you have a body? Or are you in a video game? Are you in a simulation? Today, I will teach you true reality. Push forward.
However, we watch a colorful and bright world inside our dark brain. The same situation applies to all our other senses. Sound, touch, taste, and smell are all perceived in the brain as electrical signals. Therefore, our brains throughout our lives do not confront the original of the matter existing outside us, but rather an electrical copy of it formed inside our brain. It is at this point that we are misled by assuming these copies are instances of real matter outside us.
Now we're going to talk about this external world, your body, right, in your brain. We're going to talk about this external world we see and we perceive in our brain. We're going to talk about now the external world that we perceive from inside of our brain. Is there an external world? You think that's air you breathing? Huh, Neo? I sound like Morpheus now, huh? I got the little gown on and everything. I'm Morpheus now. I need my glasses. You think that's air you breathing? Move forward.
These physical facts make us come to an indisputable conclusion. Everything we see, touch, hear, and perceive is matter. The world, or the universe, is only electrical signals in our brain.
Did y'all hear that? This is irrefutable proof. This is how the eyes work. This is how the nervous system works. This cannot be debated. You see that? This is not a theory. This is actually how your brain interprets your sight, your smell, your taste, everything you see. This is a fact, Holmes. Fact, Holmes. There's no way around it. Light photons are a fact, Holmes. Electrons are a fact, Holmes. This is science. This is not, it's make-believe. And I'm only using this to connect it to something deeper. So you can never say I got my knowledge from off the internet when I'm using this as a reference to what I'm actually saying. As an artist would use a paintbrush, they didn't make the paintbrush, they didn't make the canvas, they didn't even make the paint, but they sure painted a goddamn picture with it, and you give them credit for that fucking art they did. So I'm using these sciences to show you what I'm trying to tell you. I'm articulating something to you through these sciences. It doesn't mean that this is where he gets his information from. No, motherfucker. Stupid. I'm connecting this to disease, which I'm going to connect to DNA, and then I'm going to connect it to astrology. I'm using the sciences to bring it all together to show you that you don't have a body, and that you are the creator, and you are God. And you show me someone else doing it. Move forward.
For instance, we see a bird in the external world. In reality, this bird is not in the external world, but in our brain. The light particles reflecting from the bird reach our eye, and there they are converted into electrical signals. These signals are transmitted by neurons to the center of vision in the brain. The bird we see is, in fact, the electric signals in our brain. If the sight nerves traveling to the brain were disconnected, the image of the bird would suddenly disappear. In the same manner, the bird sounds we hear are also in our brain. If the nerve traveling from the ear to the brain was disconnected, there would be no sound left.
So if the nerves are cut, the optical nerve is cut, you cannot see. This is how you know it's a fact. See what I'm saying? If the audio nerve is cut, you cannot hear. It's with deaf people, blind people. Something's wrong with that optical nerve. So we know how sight works. We know where the sight is at in the brain. We know where audio is in the brain. We know where memory is at in the brain. Frontal lobe. Huh? Man has studied these things. Go for it.
Put simply, the bird, the shape of which we see, and the sound of which we hear, is nothing but the brain's interpretation of electrical signals. Another point to be considered here is the sense of distance. For example, the distance between you and this screen is nothing but a feeling of space formed in your brain. Also, objects that seem to be very distant in one person's view are actually images clustered at one spot in the brain. For instance, someone who watches the stars in the sky assumes that they are millions of light years away from him. Yet the stars are right inside himself, and the center of vision of his brain.
So we studying the stars. We looking up in the stars. We looking up into space. We going to Mars, y'all.